I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. Since 1970, Ann Arbor has been celebrating the core values of the city through the annual Earth Day Festival. The all ages event has educational opportunities, hands on experiences, and plenty of entertainment for the whole fam. Ann Arbor has so many majestic nature areas, none more fitting to honor the planet on Earth Day than Leslie Science and Nature Center. The locale boasts a playscape carved out of the trees and rocks that make up the landscape of this local gem. The Birds of Prey and Reptile House give visitors a chance to meet and greet some breathtaking creatures. Earth Day hosts a slew of nonprofits and organizations making learning exciting and hands-on. And there's always some tunes from local favorites like Joe Riley to make you think about Mother Nature while grooving.
Make today a day of peace. Heal our broken families. May our hearts be open. May our hearts be open wide. Make today a day.
Stay tuned, and we'll be back with more in exactly 30 seconds. At 7 Notes Natural Health, hear, see, and feel true wellness through an assortment of services and monthly gatherings. One such opportunity is a Labyrinth Walk to find a connection to nature and its inhabitants.
We are having a Labyrinth Walk to celebrate the summer solstice.
It was a beautiful sunny day and full of intention.
A labyrinth is a meditative tool to help quiet your mind and calm your heart.
I'm looking for something that was more meditative and a place to find some chance to reflect.
Most people feel a deep connection to other people, whether they're walking singly, individually, or whether they're walking in a group as we did today. They also feel sort of a peace, a sense of calm, and a meditative relaxation.
Becoming one with the earth and making sure that we're paying attention to the changing of the seasons.
For more on all the ways to reach wellness goals, visit 7notesnaturalhealth.com. The road is meant to be shared. To keep motorists, cyclists, and pedestrians safe, we all need to play our part and pay attention to the signals and fellow travelers. Learn how to safely navigate city streets as a pedestrian in this month's City Roundup in 60.
I'm Sergeant Mark Pulford with the Ann Arbor Police Department. I'm here today to talk about pedestrian safety. Whether you're outside on a beautiful day like today, walking to class, or crossing the street to get to your favorite coffee shop, pedestrian safety is a shared responsibility. Here are a few simple tips to help keep you safe. The first one is always use a crosswalk. They're here for a reason, and they provide a space so that you can get across the street safer. Always look both ways. I know, it sounds simple, but don't rely on the traffic signals. Look what traffic's doing. Stay visible. Wear bright clothing, especially at nighttime, and make eye contact when possible with the drivers before you cross. Don't be distracted. Put your phone down, take out your earbuds. Obey the traffic signals. Pedestrian signals are there for a reason, and they help guide you across the street. Remember, we all share the roadway, so it's all of our responsibility. Thank you for listening today, and stay safe, Ann Arbor.
Driving is a privilege afforded to many, but having a license is a big responsibility. The health and safety of your passengers, pedestrians, other motors, and yourself are in your hands, literally, as you take the wheel. That's why it's imperative to maintain full attention while operating a motor vehicle. Joining me is Jordan Ewald, attorney at Michigan Auto Law, here to give the facts on distracted driving. Welcome to the show, Jordan.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Can you tell me, I think maybe start off with what a definition of distracted driving is. It's not listening to the radio. I mean, that's part of your drive. You can press buttons and do things in your car, but like what really is distracted driving?
So I think distracted driving, the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of people is cell phones, right? But at the very core, it's anything that takes your attention away from the road, okay? So it could be eating, it could be drinking. It's definitely using your cell phone, whether it's for texting, phone calls, scrolling social media, but it can be those other things that we sometimes see in rush hour traffic too. The person who maybe didn't finish their makeup before they were able to leave for the day, or even talking to someone in your car could be distracting. It's just whatever's taking your attention away from what's around you on the roadway is what we would call distracted driving.
I was behind someone yesterday and they were smoking a cigarette and on their phone at the same time. And I'm like, I don't even know. How do you
Yeah, it's
drive?
uh it's amazing how many things people can find to do while they're driving, right? I mean, I've seen people on the way into work, one hand on the steering wheel and like a mascara wand in the right hand, which is kind of alarming because you definitely need your eyes to see and you're actively putting something in your vision. So it is interesting and very alarming, what people are doing when it does take your entire attention to focus on the road and what's ahead of you.
I mean, even if you are fully not, you're driving, you're paying full attention, you can even sometimes something just quickly happens. Someone slams on the brake in front of you, and you just have to be ready to go at that in a moment's notice.
Sure, and that's very true. Someone ahead of you, they could slam on their brakes. Maybe, an animal runs into the roadway or another driver makes a turn that they're not supposed to. But to protect yourself, your passengers, and other motorists, you really do need to be focusing on what's going on ahead of you and around you when you're driving.
I've mentioned this before with Michigan Auto Law, but I always like to mention it. Since I had kids and cell phone, I mean, like, I feel like at one point when I was younger, I would
Mhm.
have used my cell phone while I was driving. And now that I have kids, I'm like, I do not want my kids to see me distracted driving because guess what? In 8 years, my daughter's going to be behind that wheel, and I don't want her looking at her cell phone while she's driving.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, kids pick up what their parents, what their peers are doing. So if you're a parent with small children, they're going to pick up on the habits that you have in the car. So implementing safe driving tactics and talking to your kids about what they should be doing or what they shouldn't be doing, even if they're in the car with other adults, can be really important for their safety, as well as other motorists on the road.
What are the laws when it comes to Michigan and distracted driving? Are there actually laws on the books for this?
There are. So there are two separate laws when it comes to distracted driving with cell phones, okay? The first one deals with any and all motorists, right? So adults, teenagers, kids alike, you are not supposed to use your cell phone while you're driving. The first law is the hands-free law, and that applies to all ages. Michigan in 2023 enacted a law that doesn't allow you to use your cell phone in your hand to make calls, to give text messages, or to scroll or engage in social media in any way. That's the first one. The second one is called Kelsey's Law, and that was actually enacted with the help of a mother. Her name is Bonnie Raphael. Her daughter passed away in a distracted driving incident. This law pertains to young drivers, teenagers in particular. Drivers with either a level 1 or a level 2 license cannot use their cell phone at all, even if it's hands-free. They're just not allowed to engage in texting, phone calls, or any sort of cell phone use whatsoever while behind the wheel.
Well, while you're talking about Kelsey's Law, you actually just awarded, there's a yearly scholarship for video submissions that deal with Kelsey's Law. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, of course. So Michigan Auto Law, we started this program back in 2016. Like I mentioned earlier, Kelsey Raphael was a teenager from upstate Michigan who passed away due to a distracted driving incident. her mom, Bonnie, worked really hard with the state of Michigan to pass Kelsey's Law to try to raise awareness as well as, protect young drivers and other motorists. So the passage of Kelsey's Law came in 2013. 2016, we decided to partner with Bonnie to do a scholarship in her honor. And the focus of it is to get teens talking to other teens under the idea of they're likely to listen to their peers a little more closely than they might a mom or a dad or some sort of adult in their life. And we encourage juniors and seniors in high school to introduce graphics, videos, and submit them to us for review. And there are winners who are selected at the end and awarded scholarship money to be used at higher education.
That's amazing because I do think it's a really great to have younger. When you are walking or driving or riding your bike, the people that you see on their cell phones all the time are like teens and early 20 somethings. They're crossing the road with their cell phone. So like if they're walking across the street and not looking, that they're most likely on their cell phone while they're driving too. I mean, it's an assumption, but we've seen it too,
Yeah.
And we all know, and I'm sure you can attest to this yourself because I can, that I was a much worse driver when I first got my license. And there were little fender benders and little accidents that I got in. And this was like, when I first started driving, people weren't on their cell phones like that. So now you're already not as good of a driver and you're distracted because you can't put your cell phone down.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, when you're a new driver, everything is a fresh experience for you, right? And you have to learn how to anticipate things on the road. You have to learn how to kind of, navigate new situations. Adding a cell phone into it makes that even more difficult. And it's interesting that you say that where, most of the times you look and it's young people that are on their phones. Teenagers are actually scientifically more susceptible to distracted driving because part of their brain hasn't yet developed, which makes them more tempted, makes them more susceptible to, want to get that dopamine hit that actually comes when you hear a text message come through or you hear a social media ping. It's scientifically proven that they're more susceptible to it, which is even more important that we talk about it with them and remind them of safe driving habits.
Are there penalties involved with these two laws in Michigan?
Yep, so there are penalties involved for each of them. When it comes to Kelsey's Law, there can be some fines as well as civil infractions. For the all ages law or Michigan's hands-free law, similar penalties, there can be fines up to $250, community service, as well as points put on a license, and even be sent back to some sort of driver improvement course as well.
Well, and this is only if you get caught distracted driving. This isn't if you get in an accident or injure somebody.
Right. So yeah, if you get caught distracted driving, it can be a primary offense in the state of Michigan. So that can just be the reason for getting pulled over is using your cell phone. It doesn't have to just be because you got into an accident or because, you hurt someone when you were driving.
Yeah, and no one wants to think about that aspect of it either. Nobody wants to hurt somebody. That's somebody's family. And that you'd live with that regardless of what happened to that person, just injuring them or death, which I'm sure you guys have seen at Michigan Auto Law.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have seen the effects of distracted driving in dealing with clients at Michigan Auto Law. And it doesn't just impact the person whose life you took away, just like you said, it impacts their family, right? Their friends, the life that was lost there, and what they contributed to their family, friends, and community. All of that can certainly be lost, and it is sad to see those effects, which is why we always recommend in any situation, whether it's hands-free or not, you just don't engage with your cell phone while you're driving. Because there's research that shows even answering a call hands-free while on the road, it takes away about 39% of your focus that would otherwise be devoted to the road. That's a lot. That is a ton of your energy and your focus that should be on other drivers and what's ahead of you that you're now putting onto your phone and can lead to some bad stuff.
Yeah, and when I was looking at the law, like you guys have some blogs and stuff on your website that break down the laws and like the different things about it. It's interesting that, it is just like this hands-free situation. So if you want to go on your socials and you can do it hands-free, or like if you want to watch a video, you can do that. Like, why are people watching movies and videos while they're driving? That seems super dangerous, regardless of what the law entails.
Yeah, it seems super dangerous to me too. Yet, people are doing it. And I think it kind of has to deal with the fact that we're so interconnected, right? We have these cell phones, and anything you could really want is in the palm of your hand. And I think that there's a need, people feel they need to be connected, right? They don't want to miss out on something. And it is unfortunate, the law, the way it's written, that you're right. It does seem like there's a little bit of a loophole there. As long as you're doing it hands-free, you can do it and it be voice operated. Hands-free also, just to clarify, means that it is voice operated, but it also should be an amount. That's another specific part of the law. But even then, there's a lot of things that you could be doing under those requirements that don't necessarily make you a safe driver.
Well, can you talk about from an attorney's perspective that you should just put the cell phone away fully or anything that's going to distract you while you're on the road?
Sure. I think first and foremost, it keeps everyone safe, right? Like you said earlier, no one wants to think about the consequences of being involved in a crash when it comes to injuring someone. No one has that intent. But from a legal aspect, yeah, if you're, involved in an accident and the reason for that is distracted driving, that certainly can be brought up. That can be a reason for being found at fault in a collision. And unfortunately, we see it more and more as technology develops. It becomes more integrated in our vehicles, right? And easier to use while we're driving. Cell phones, I don't know if you have Apple Play or Android that goes right to your car and it kind of sinks right in. It'll let you use a lot of those functions while you're driving, and that can lead to serious consequences if you were to hit someone, whether they're a motorist, a pedestrian, or even like in a parking lot. I've seen that happen too, unfortunately. Someone's unloading their car and the person next to them isn't paying attention on their phone and they kind of back right into them.
I like that you mentioned cars and stuff because my husband just got a brand new car. So it's like a
Mhm.
2025. I have a 2017. So the technology in the cars are very
Sure.
different. And I'm like sitting in the passenger seat and he's like, "Do you want to try to drive it or whatever?" And I'm like, "I would like to sit in the passenger seat for a little while because this car has so much more technology to it that I'm scared to drive it, that I will be distracted by all the stuff that the car is providing me to
Mhm.
do." And that in itself is a little scary that like now cars are almost a distraction in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you plug in your phone, it'll pop up whenever you get a text message, right? It'll pop up whenever you get a call. So even if you're not meaning to, you're looking ahead and you might divert your eyes to the side to see who it is or what it is. And that's just something that comes with plugging it into the cars. And it does create some kind of questions that people have with, are these really the safest things that we should be putting in our cars while we're trying to reduce accidents, make sure people are okay when they're driving? It's serious considerations.
I also feel like that everything's a screen also makes it more distracting. Like when my car has buttons for the radio and like stuff like that, buttons don't feel as distracting as like when you start going into a screen and then you're just like going deeper and you're like, "Oh, well, maybe I want my radio stuff to show up in my
Mhm.
dashboard over here." And then you're driving, you're doing all these it's wild to me how much a
It
car
is.
can do, and you can do it while you're literally in drive.
Correct. You can, swipe, you can click, you can ask it to do things for you, switch your song, all of that you can really do. Plug in GPS and things of that nature through your phone. All of that can be done while you're driving. Yeah, it can be very dangerous.
Yeah, I almost like my advice is to like literally sit in your driveway or your garage and just like get to know your car really well before you start messing with it while you're actually driving somewhere.
Yeah, that's great advice. And also, people can implement on their phones, like a do not disturb mode or something like that. There are specific ones for cars while you're driving. And what it does is it hides the messages and the calls from you so they don't come up, and it notifies the people that you're messaging or that are messaging you rather that you're driving, and you'll get back to them later so they don't keep trying to send you things and distract you while you're on the road.
Do you have like stats on what accidents caused by distracted driving in Michigan? Like is that number on the rise?
So the good thing is the number's actually going down. So across the board for both teen and young drivers as well as adults, all of the statistics are going down when it comes to distracted driving. So a few of them, motor vehicle collisions in general involving distracted driving are down 16% approximately from 2019 to 2023, which is the most recent data. Injury collisions involving distracted drivers, those are down about 12%. And then, fatal motor vehicle collisions that are involving distracted driving, those are down by almost 21%, which those are great numbers. So the information, the sharing of information, as well as these new laws, they certainly seem to be working and helping us pay attention and understand what it is that we should be doing.
Well, that's great. So it's great to just keep the conversation going. So, like I said, like for my kids, like I'm like, I won't answer my phone in the car. Or, I've seen my husband do it and I'm like, put your phone away. Don't do it in front of the kids, but don't do it at all either.
Right.
Like, I want you to be safe. I want to have our family intact still, too.
Right. Exactly. And I think that's important for kids to understand too, like teenagers, people who are starting to get in the car with peers. If you see a friend that grabs their phone, say, hey, can you not do that while I'm in the car or ever, but I'm here and I'd like you not to. Or is there something I could do for you? Send the message or whatever it is. But I think it's important to start talking to them young, like you are with your kids, so that they can help themselves. And then as they get older, friends who may not have had such good guidance, just so that we can all be safe.
Well, we're just about out of time. Do you have any additional advice you'd like to share with our viewers from a professional or a personal standpoint?
Sure. I think from a professional and personal standpoint, they go together. We want everyone to be safe, right? The goal is that you come home at the end of the day to your friends and your family. And the way that we do that is making sure that we are really focused on the road and other motorists that are ahead of us, behind us, to the side of us. And the best way to do that is just put your phone away. Put it in the console, put it in the glove box. There's nothing so important that you can't wait till you get to your destination. Or if there is some reason, pull over, get to a parking lot, and then find a safe place to use your phone where you're not putting yourself or your peers at risk.
I mean, yeah, could you imagine like, oh, I got to check my phone. I'm driving, I get in an accident and it's like a junk email or something. Like it's just the worst.
Right, a spam
Yes.
or something like that. So yeah, there's nothing so important to risk your safety and the safety of those around you.
Well, thank you for such a great conversation, Jordan.
Of course, thank you for having me.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN, visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification. Thanks for watching and tune in next time to FYI.